One of my favorite game franchises is Mortal Kombat. I can remember standing in the arcade when the very first game came out. The lines were too long for me to even bother trying to play. Mortal Kombat revolutionized the fighting game genre. It was one of the first games to step over the blood and gore boundaries, and when I say step, I mean leap. Mortal Kombat quickly became famous for its pints of over-the-top blood and outrageous violence. Over the years, we've seen many versions of the game, some good and some really bad. But the day is finally here, where I have the pleasure to review NetherRealm Studios and WB Games' new and very first next-gen installment of Mortal Kombat. I have been waiting for this game for a long time, and it's finally here. I must say, it's nothing like I expected. There isn't much in the way of complaints here, but one big problem I have with the game is that they took out the 3D arena movement. Now I know that a lot of people are going to hate on me for that. I understand the developers going back to their roots. I guess a lot of people wanted to return to the old-fashioned 2D fighting style, but my big question is, why? We're in a new generation of gaming. I found myself still trying to roll to the side and out of the way of my opponent. But taking the 3D element out was not a deal breaker for me. Yes, it was different to get used to, but it works. Gameplay is awesome. Characters move fluidly, combos are easy to pull off, and everything just feels smooth. There is a lot of content in this game. You have the original arcade-style fighting ladder where you face off against multiple opponents, only to make it to the impossible final boss, Shao Kahn. I say that tongue-in-cheek, of course. He can be defeated, but man is it hard. So if you get bored of going arcade-style by yourself, you can go at it with a partner. The newly added tag team mode is pretty neat and allows for longer and more intense fights. Similar to games like Marvel vs. Capcom, you can call in your partner to help you attack. You're also able to switch out on the fly. I'll admit, it's a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat brings back classic mini-games like Test Your Might and Test Your Sight. They're new and improved and still very entertaining. Another fun game mode is called Test Your Luck. In this mode, each player spins a roulette wheel. The wheel lands on various symbols and each affect the battle differently. Sometimes you get a speed increase, sometimes the floor becomes magnetic. You never know what you're going to land on. It certainly makes fighting more interesting. If you remember from Mortal Kombat Deception, released in 2004, there were tons of goodies to unlock in what the game called the Crypt. They brought back the Crypt in the new game, but this time it's sectioned off into different areas. So you go into the Crypt and you spend money to unlock stuff, at the expense of some poor sap. Yikes. At the edge of the crypt is Necropolis. Necropolis is a place where you can go in and view all of the fighters, their bios, their full body renders, and even see what they look like after they get their butts kicked. You, of course, can also go head-to-head with your friends in the familiar versus mode. I like this a lot because it's very basic. The one thing that got on my nerves about the one-on-one was that if I defeated my opponent, only they could control whether or not we do a rematch or select a new character. That's annoying because if I want to choose a new fighter, I have to ask my buddy, whose butt I just kicked, to nicely return to the menu. The game should just default back to the character select screen after each battle. They've added a story mode that takes you through each character and their side of the story. Evil Sorcerer Shang Tsung is running the tournament, of course, and is responsible for setting up the matches. But Raiden doesn't make it very easy for him, as he goes around trying to convince people not to turn to the dark side.
You must not let emotion overpower you.
The story mode is fun. You earn coins for every match you win that you can then use in the crypt. As you progress through the story, you learn what different motives each contestant has for being where they are. Some are reluctant to fight in the tournament, and others welcome the bloodbath. Speaking of bloodbaths, let me just say that this game is violent. Not only is the blood flying around the screen when you punch someone, but now each character has a special attack called an X-ray strike. This visceral special move shows players an X-ray vision impact cam, displaying the damage done from brutal attacks. It's barbarous, but it looks awesome. Not to mention, each character also has several different fatalities at their disposal. Some are simple to execute, and some require a lot of practice. Like I said, there is a lot going on in this game, so much that I don't want to spoil it all for you. If you're a fan of Mortal Kombat or even the fighting game genre, definitely don't miss this game. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.